Flamethrowers are nothing new to Space Marine 2. If you played the campaign or enjoyed the modding scene at any point over the last year or so, you've almost certainly used a flamer already. But new in patch 10.0 is the Pyrecannon for heavy. While it obviously shares some similarities to the weapon Titus used to push back those Ripper hordes on Kadaku, we've entered a whole new ballgame when it comes to unleashing the Inferno. This weapon kicks ass. It cooks just about everything on the Tzeentch and Tyranid roster. I think everybody expected Flamers to be good when it comes to Horde Clear. It's kind of what they do. Burning through trash mobs is what Flamers are known for in any game they make an appearance. They're designed for crowd control, for thinning out large numbers of low HP enemies, and in some iterations, melting through armor. But I'm using this Volcano Spewer all day, have a bunch of absolute clears under my belt, and a fully maxed Relic Tier Flamer, and this thing does a whole hell of a lot more than just that. I am going to tell you, but first I'm going to show you. Keep in mind this is from an absolute match before I had it maxed out. Not an ideal situation, this boss spawn can be rough. There's not a lot of room to maneuver when you come up on this lift, and teammates are going to be out of the picture for the majority of the fight here. Bulwark is down, and Assault's keeping some warriors off my back before he eventually succumbs as well. Take a look what happens to this Carnifex and his health bar with only the Pyrecannon dealing any damage in this fight. Probably the biggest cause of wipes in Absolute right now is being pincered from both sides by Extremis and Majoris waves while fighting a Terminus boss. The way it works is, most maps have the potential to spawn 2 Terminus enemies at some point throughout the mission, except for those maps that already have a guaranteed boss at the end. In that case, you'd only get 1 Terminus spawn potentially. But when a Neurothrope, a Hellbrute, or a Carnifex spawns in, they unleash a Majoris and Extremis wave ahead of your party and behind it, typically accompanied by some minor trash mobs as well. This repeats when you get them down to half HP. Predictably, this is going to be the bane of a lot of your pubs because it immediately pressures you from every side by multiple enemies that can down you in only a couple swings, and sometimes it combos into incredibly difficult situations where you're like getting bowled over by Carnifex while a Zoanthrope is pooping out bubbles at you and a Ravener is leaping while 5-6 warriors tickle your booty with whips. It really stretches your ability to focus. There's going to be a lot of enemies coming at you from multiple sides. All of them are dangerous. It's that combination that wipes you. Same as Darktide, same as any other Horde element type of game like this one. You're going to need good coordination and good DPS to quickly eliminate some of those threats before they stack up, right? And by far, one of the biggest selling points of the Pyrecannon is its burn DOT, its damage over time. Absolutely, the direct flame can put in work, but the majority of your damage comes in after you stop shooting at whatever you were shooting at before, while they are still burning. This is important for a couple reasons. Number one, it means you can put a quick burst of flame onto something, then turn your attention elsewhere. Forget about it. Doesn't matter if it teleports away, it doesn't matter if it's leaping all over the place or skittering around the corner. If you put a nice solid burst on a target, whether it's a Chaos Spawn or a Zongor Enlightened, it is probably going to become executable within the next 5 seconds or so. As you just saw right there, the burn DOT actually works through Warrior Block, which, I mean, Warrior Block will literally block most of the weapons in this game. If it's a Las Fusil fully charged at its head, and his sword arms are up, you're not doing any damage whatsoever. It's 100% DR. There's no damage that gets through. Fully charged plasma to the face, they do not give a shit. But the burn goes through it, and you can literally just set them on fire and let them die as they hold their block. If you do that same thing to a boss, you can cook it up a little bit, then go beat up on the specials that are ganking your teammates, and all the while, that HP bar is going to be dropping, and it drops fast. There are multiple ways you can increase that burn DOT, the length of it anyway, and that's incredibly useful in a situation where your focus is being pulled in many different directions simultaneously. I think already you can see the burn DOT is fairly impressive, but one element of this weapon that has surprised me and is dramatically different from the version we had early on in the campaign and in mods like Astartes Overhaul is its ammo efficiency. Normally, I don't think of Flamers as being a very ammo efficient type of weapon. Most of the iterations we've seen run out very quickly. I've basically not run out of ammo with this weapon at all. If you have Auxiliary Reload as a prestige perk, which you absolutely should, it should probably be the first one you pick up. If you have any interest at all in playing hard siege or high difficulty ops, you want to have Auxiliary Reload. It's difficult to run out of ammo on the Pyrecannon. Anytime you execute an Extremis, which you'll be doing a lot with this weapon, you're getting ammo back, and you really don't have to hold it on a target for long for it to hit the breakpoint where it's guaranteed to burn out a target. surprisingly, it doesn't really burn through ammo very quick at all. Now, right now, we're going to be watching a clutch from the same gameplay where I was fighting against the Carnifex solo, where both my teammates died. A little bit later on in the run now, both my teammates are dead again. Hey, it happens. Absolute is hard. But we're dealing with an entire horde by ourselves. We're dealing with Zoanthropes, Majoris, and a big old horde of Gaunts. I'm in a bad situation here. Plasma Devastator is what I think most people would consider to be Heavy's best weapon, and certainly one of the best weapons in the game overall, if maybe not the best. It's an absolutely incredible weapon. But there are some situations where you don't have the time and space to fully charge up a shot. And most people who run the Heavy Plasma Dev want to run the ammo variant, because without the ammo variant, you just run out of ammo incredibly fast. That's big ammo consumption problems. Right there, I did not have the time or space required to fully charge up shots from the ammo variant at all. I just would not have been able to do it. Instead, I put my back to a wall and just flamed on, like Johnny Storm. And everything in front of me died. Now, a decent player probably could have made this clutch with any of Heavy's weapons, or perhaps not even put themselves in that position in the first place. Certainly, the Multi-Melta could have done similar crowd control things in that situation, pushed everything off me, killed all the Minoris, and staggered the Majoris. That's all nice to see. The difference is, the Flamer actually melts bosses and extremists like Zoanthropes, which is surprising. Most weapons in the game that don't have a headshot multiplier are really bad for Zoans. If you've ever tried to kill a down Zoan with a plasma pistol, it's actually super frustrating. You can put 1, 2, 3 fully charged shots into it, and sometimes you won't kill it, and it'll get back up again. Plasma pistol and plasma weapons don't have a headshot multiplier. Flamer obviously doesn't have a headshot multiplier, but it actually burns out Zoans from the air. It has really short range, so getting in close enough to do it isn't necessarily the easiest thing in the world, but Zoanthropes die very quickly to the Pyrecannon, which is kind of cool. Obviously, there are some downsides for this weapon too. That very short range is the big one. It can't reach out and touch things in the way that Plasma or the Heavy Bolter can. Burn damage does not restore contested health. It's only the direct fire that does that. And while its contested HP regen is okay-ish, I guess, it's certainly not the level of like a Plasma weapon. So I do recommend pairing the Pyrecannon with a Fire Rate Relic Tier Plasma for quick temp health regen. And it's also a very annoying weapon for both you and your teammates in terms of visibility. Go figure. Nobody can see shit when multiple people are running Flamers simultaneously. They obscure enemy attack animations, make it harder for your teammates to see enemies, make it harder for you to know when you need to parry, because not everything gets staggered by the flames, right? They're going to be winding up and charging through the Inferno to do an attack on you, and that can get you messed up if you can't see what kind of attack they're lining up for. It makes the timing a lot harder when you can't see them. I'm not really sure there's much reason to hip fire with this weapon either. There are technically 2 fire modes, a hip fire with a shorter, fatter flame, and an aim down sights version, which focuses the flame, narrows it, and extends it out further. Unfortunately, I don't have any stats about whether the burn or direct damage from one is better than the other, but generally from what I've seen and heard, you should mostly be aiming when firing this weapon. If you don't have time and need a quick burst, then obviously hip fire is fine, but most of the time you're going to want to aim down sights. It just seems to hit harder and burn better when doing so, and honestly that's in line with most of Heavy's weapon selections. With Heavy Bolter anyway, you don't really hip fire, right? You just aim. You see how fast that Neurothrope died? That wasn't all Pyroblast. There was a sniper with a Stalker Bolt Rifle that was putting in work there too, but when he stopped shooting, the thing was still dropping real fast. Take a quick look at the build here. I honestly haven't felt the need to run the ammo variants of the Pyrecannon. I've gotten Venting Speed, so you can stack that with the first perk there. Then Burning Damage Increase, more ammo, burning 5 enemies restores armor, 15% extra burning damage, which I think is a big one, 10% extra damage, heavy immunity while in heavy stance, so you can't get knocked over, and then enemies at a distance of less than 10 meters will take 20% more damage. I feel like that's probably the main build you want to go on this weapon. I haven't tried all the builds yet, but there's not very many ways you can build this weapon anyway. There is an interesting perk that gives you 10% health back every time you kill 7 enemies when you're below 30% HP. So if you were constantly like at 1 HP, you could cycle in between. And the nice thing about being low HP in this game, you get big time damage resist. I don't know exactly what the numbers are, but like huge damage resist when you're close to the end of your health pool. So if you want to play in that like 0 to 30% HP remaining type thing, that could be a kind of interesting way to play. But generally I'd say when looking at the whole skill tree for that weapon, there aren't many ways to build it. I would just go for the stacking damage and burns is really where you want to be going with that. In terms of the overall perk tree and skill build, let's take a look at prestige perks. Auxiliary reload is just ridiculously good. It's so strong, especially if you play hard siege or absolute operations. There's going to be lots of extremist enemies. That gives you more ammo. Very good. Doesn't matter what weapon you're using, you definitely want that as probably your first prestige perk. Conviction is amazing as well. When your armor is fully depleted, you take 25% less health damage. You can stack that with some other stuff from the tree itself. Indomitable Spirit is solid. Gunstrike, you don't lose control upon taking heavy hits. I have not actually gone to my 4th prestige yet because I feel like these are not as impactful. I'll do it soon, but I'd probably go either between Reverberating Impact or Duelist. Duelist, if you don't feel as comfortable on a balanced type weapon, like, you use with heavies, melee attacks, and parry, I think it's on a balanced timing, so Duelist would make that a lot easier for you. Probably, if you have any issues with that whatsoever, you can maybe go Duelist, but 50% extra AoE on melee is fine too. I think those are probably the only two you want to really consider there. Restoration is very good. Gives you more armor. Fortitude, 30% HP increase is amazing. This makes you so incredibly tanky. And I think for pretty much any class, you want to go HP increases whenever possible, because it synergizes with that damage resist you get at the lower end of your health bar. More HP is always so helpful in a game like this one. Overwhelming power, going more ammo cap. You don't need to do that necessarily. Again, I think the Flamer doesn't have too many issues on that front, but Adamant Will, going health damage reduction when Iron Halo deactivates, so we're stacking a lot of that, and then with the HP increases, that's really nice. Field adjustment. I like this. This one's actually pretty important, I think. I'm very rarely sitting there just letting an entire army shoot into my Iron Halo. It's a lot more common that you're in lots of little engagements and something like a Devourer shooting into you, so you need to have that shield back up sooner rather than just like letting your entire shield bar deplete, you know what I mean? So my shield doesn't need to be more tanky so much as it needs to just be up more often when I need it. If I go for an execution, I'm going to drop my shield, which means I can't use it for a second. If I get a cooldown reduction on that, that's a big deal. It means I can start using it again much sooner. To be fair though, a lot of these, especially with heavy, are kind of dealer's choice. I don't think there's any like hard and fast rules here. There are definitely good options in multiple rows and multiple columns. So don't take this as like a hard and fast, but this is just the build that I've been playing with it, and I've been pretty happy with it so far. Had some very good results, and beat the Mutilate Vortex Beast on first try with randoms, which was pretty fun. I'm going to leave you guys with a couple gameplay snippets, but let me know what you think about the Pyrecannon so far. I've really been enjoying it. I think it's actually a very strong weapon. I don't know if it's the strongest heavy weapon, but I think it's up there. If it's not S tier, it's like high A. It feels really good. It rips through Majoris, Extremists, and bosses. Like I said, bosses are the biggest threat to you right now in Absolute, so I think it's a pretty strong weapon. Hope y'all enjoyed, and I'll see you all in the next one. Peace out.
Halo tactics. Advance to position. Brother,